Hey, what's going on, guys? So look at this kind of random video, and I do want to make it. It's a little different. But the other day I was driving in my truck and I'm taking a trip to South Carolina and I'm using Google Maps. And I'm using Google Maps on my Alpine head unit, which integrates with my phone. And so I love that head unit. I have the same head unit in my Mustang. And it's funny because I see so much talk now of people talking about getting rid of their smartphone or getting off social media, whatever, all of that stuff. And it made me think back to when I did. Back in 2013, I got rid of my smartphone. I was an early adopter to smartphones back in 2010, which may not sound like a lot, but I just remember the stats were something like two-thirds of the population didn't have a smartphone back then. So it was pretty early, to have a smartphone. And so back in 2013, I ultimately decided to get rid of my smartphone because I was having an issue with it. I thought it was stupid, to have to pay to replace it because I don't finance that stuff. And I got rid of it. And I also, around that time, got rid of Facebook. I had Facebook for, man, like 2006, I think. And then I got rid of it sometime in, I think, 2012 or might have been 2013 as well. I can't really remember. So I was without it. And it was before you're seeing it as cool now. And there have always been people that have done it. There's always been people. I have family that's never once been on social media. And hey, whatever works for you, right? Who am I to judge? And I'm not. So a lot of people are probably wondering, like, what is it like to not have a smartphone? What is it like? Well, back 8 years ago when I did it, I think we were relying on smartphones a lot, but I also think with the pandemic, you've seen a wicked increase in, video sharing and all that stuff, like the Zoom meetings and Teams, whatever, all that stuff. And so I can't speak to getting rid of a smartphone back like then where you had that kind of uh, crazy usage, but it did affect a lot of things in terms of the, you're not going to be as able to share things. You're not able to use the internet. There were a lot of things that I had to get used to with like not being able to just Google something or search a restaurant or look up directions. You were using a Garmin GPS or a TomTom, and it's funny to think back on that, and I'm glad I did it. I think there were some good things that came out of it because my family as a whole has never really been one of those crazy social media people where your emotions are all wrapped up in how many likes you get and all that sort of nonsense. I'm not wired that way, and most of my family isn't either, and the people that I'm close with now are not either. It's just kind of like we've all kind of attracted because we don't get caught up in that nonsense. And I think the underlying issue that we're seeing is this addiction to social media and people's addiction to their smartphones, which I think can be, pretty bad. I think that's dangerous. I think it's not good for your mental health. But I don't know if getting rid of a smartphone is the solution. If you want to get rid of Facebook, go ahead. I mean, there's some weird stuff going on. I'm not going to be political. This is a car channel for the most part and kind of a DIY home thing, like shop stuff. But there's some stuff going on that I think is concerning. I think if you're, a present American with how you view things, yeah, there's some concerns that we've been seeing lately. But I also think your perspective and how your attitude towards different situations is going to dictate how you view social media or how you view your smartphone. And I know I am a avid DIYer and car enthusiast, and I would say my favorite like thing to watch is my YouTube channels that I have, like Taylor Ray, Cletus McFarland. There's a Ford Tech Mackie Loco that I really like. Adam LZ even, and Weston Chapman. Like there's been different ones over the years. And my point is those people I find enjoyable to watch. I'm not watching cat videos. I'm not watching any of that stupid crap. I'm using it for more of a entertainment, but also educational, like the Ford Tech, like watching people do different projects on their vehicles or in their shop or in their house. I was doing some work on my bicycle, like my road bike, and I was watching, things on how to properly do certain procedures on it and making sure that I was doing my tune-up correctly. And I think that's where maybe I differ than some people, because I'm using it as a tool that provides some entertainment, but there's also a usefulness to it. I think people sometimes are, using the smartphone as reason why they're unhappy, or blaming, their own lack of time management. Shut the phone off. Pick up a book. Most nights I read now. And a few years ago, I started listening to audiobooks, and it's so relaxing. I found I slept better. And I've been getting back into that, but I've been reading a physical book, and I have a little book light, and I read at night for a little while. And I just think that those are the sort of things that you can do. It's not the smartphone. I think if there's a bigger problem, then I guess you got to address it. But I think for most people, it's you, right? It's in here. And I think you need to make those changes yourself, whether it's talking about it with someone you're close with, whether it's an online community or something. For me, I just started doing it because I think it's healthier. I think we need to all unplug. And there were things that I would not be willing to give up with the smartphone. I was taking a trip to South Carolina back a month ago, had an issue with my truck. I needed to get to an exhaust shop, and it happened on the highway. And it was 70 miles an hour. My exhaust comes down off the truck. I'm dragging it. I had a hanger brake, and I needed to get to an exhaust shop. And the reason I was able to save my trip was because I had my smartphone. I was able to search for an exhaust shop 2 hours away from home, 2 hours away from my destination. And I was able to, get my truck repaired, get it all taken care of, and be back on my way in a couple hours. If I had a flip phone, that wouldn't have happened, especially in an area I don't know. So I'm just trying to get you to think about this, because so many people are talking about this, and it's got like this sexy appeal. Oh yeah, I got rid of my smartphone. Yeah. I don't think that's, going to solve all your problems. I think it's going to come within, and you managing your time better, picking up some hobbies, or talking to people. Like, I make a point to go to some of my neighbors in my complex. I'm very close with an older lady, and we go and we'll let the dogs play, and we will sit and just talk for like an hour, hour and a half, multiple times a week. And I think that's the sort of thing that people need to get back to. It's just being more present, but the phone isn't going to do that. Shut your phone off. You don't need to be more present by, getting rid of your smartphone. You need to be better in control of managing your usage and finding the things that bring you joy and are productive. The phone's not going to do that. Just my thoughts on it. As I said, I love having my smartphone, especially with, my head units and stuff in the vehicles, which I should do a review on. But just figured this may help some of you guys that are thinking about it. I don't think it's all it's cracked up to be. If you want to try it, go ahead. But I just think it's going to be more of within, and your own, desire to change and limit your usage. And that's ultimately going to be the deciding factor. But your mileage will vary.